everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee here. I'm here with an event preview, a preview for the very first event of this card, of this organisation, which I'm very, very excited to get to. Before I do though, please follow us, all the things, you know, at Battle Rap Resume on the Twitter, battlerapresume@gmail.com. It's the best way to get in contact with me. iTunes as well, leave us a review on iTunes. We've got the Patreon if you want to give back to the show, you want to listen to some content way in advance. Go on to the Patreon. We've got our Redbubble as well. We're going to try and get some new merch because I've heard from people that the Battle Rap Resume t-shirts from Redbubble aren't necessarily the greatest quality, surprise, surprise. So we're going to try and do some more interesting stuff in the future. But yeah, support us all the ways you can. And you know, this is chalked out. This is majorly exciting. I'm here with one of the main men making it happen. It's Shox. How's it going, man?
How you doing, Tom? I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, the landscape of battling has shifted so much, arguably, before Checkpoint 4, but really you can see that as the last kind of major don't flop event, and, things have sprang up here and there. But, I mean, with Chalked Out, you're doing something a bit different, are you, than the Standard League?
Yeah, well, I mean, firstly, we didn't want to just compete. Like, it did feel a little like when the don't flop situation started, everybody wanted to jump on board and start a new league and, I don't know, sort of revel in its downfall in a way. Yeah. But I mean, as far as that situation is concerned, it's not over yet. Don't lose faith completely. Excuse the pun. But
right.
as far as going forward with us, we wanted to do something that enabled us to put on battles for the fans, but at the same time, try and find our way in a scene that's, to us, severely lacking in like musical credibility. And we've got some incredible artists that have battled in the scene in the UK and around the world that make incredible music and never seem to be able to get the push they deserve with it. So we're trying to blend the two, live shows and battles all under one roof.
Yeah. I remember we spoke a little bit before. You were telling me about it. It seems like a while ago now. I remember we were talking about the Briz battle at that time, so it must have been, eons ago. And you were saying, the USP was the whole music thing. And I remember saying to you, like, it's criminal, that 10,000 Hours C Major isn't doing tours, isn't doing big gigs, that Tony isn't out there, that Raptor, like, it's so great that you're giving these talented people a real platform.
Well, do you know what it is? Like, it's funny you bring up 10,000 Hours, right? I mean, C's a real good guy. We chat outside of battling on the phone and whatever, but, we don't know each other deeply. But there's this funny, it's almost strange. When you start a business yourself, probably knowing with Battle Rap Resume, like you start something that you try to build up, and your friends are always like the people you expect to support you, and they're always the ones that are the last to, because they are your friends. They expect sort of freebies or help out, rather than they should be the ones supporting because they know you. Like, I've always felt that music's kind of the same. Like, you can know some people that make incredible music, but your brain doesn't take it in as incredible because you know them on a personal level. So you might sort of gloss over it a little bit. But I'll say it now on this show, like 10,000 Hours, I have not stopped listening to it since he dropped it. Like, it's one of my favourite releases ever. Yeah. And I would say, as far as like hip hop, I mean, I wouldn't even call the album hip hop. It's so eclectic, the mix of styles it's got on there. But just the whole scene in general, that style of music, like, he has come out and dropped this CD and it is just timeless to me. And the fact that I'm sitting there watching, like, he tweeted a little while ago how elated he was to have 100,000 listens on Homies on Spotify. And I just sat back and I thought, how the fuck is it taking that long to get 100,000 listens? Like, that, he deserves millions of views and plays. And it just started me thinking, like, I need to look into this and see how many battlers have put out incredible projects that have just sort of slipped under the radar because they're stuck in this limbo. They've got battle leagues that want to push battles and make their money off battling and not promote the music side of it. And then you've got music channels like Grime Daily and SBTV that are pushing artists but don't see battlers as viable artists and don't give them the push either. And there's just sort of limbo in the middle where these incredibly talented guys just don't have a platform to interact with the fans, to play their music live, to be appreciated for something other than screaming insults about someone's mum. And we try to figure out a way that we could blend the two.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the card in a moment, the Volume 1 card, which I should say for everyone listening, Saturday, the 14th of October, Brixton Jam as well, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Chalkedout.com, all the links will be in the description. But it's not just yourself, it's you, Frankie Fraser, Ambi, obviously acclaimed battlers in their own right. Like, was it logical to bring those two guys on?
No, to be honest with you, the whole thing of Chalked Out started as me and Ambi. Like, me and Ambi are really good friends outside of battling, and we talk often on the phone for hours, like just about everything. One of those people you just click with.
Yeah.
And we were talking about what we felt the scene was missing and things we'd like to change for ages and ages. And then you get onto those inevitable talks of, let's do our own thing and laughing about it. And it never really comes to anything. But we just started talking more and more. And the more we talked about it, the more exciting it became. Like, it really felt like there was something a little different that we could bring to the table. And yeah, we just started looking into how we could make it work. And around that time, Frankie was involved in chats, and we'd sort of gone to him for a little bit of advice. He'd done a bit of work with Danny on training days, and we felt that he had a little bit of something he could bring to the table for us that was different. He had the same sort of mentality that we did, in the way that we wanted to change certain things organically, not just throw money at it or puff our chests out, but say, look, we're not trying to be competition for anyone else. We want to build this from the ground up organically and have everybody involved with us. So it just seemed like a logical fit, and the three of us were going back and forth in a group chat, and now we're here. This is literally, it's just organically happened. We've thrown ideas in together, and the ideas work, and we go off, and we've all got our own things that we make happen, and it's led us here.
I mean, you're on the show, and I'm not trying to sort of blow smoke up your ass, but obviously everyone loves you, Shox, to a certain extent. Like, everyone's got a lot of affection. That is kind of a USP for the league, along with the music. Like, we've seen recent uploads and stuff, people decrying certain league owners and such. But, do you feel that's like a thing? Because there's certain battlers that we'll get into that haven't battled on platforms for ages, but they're coming back for Chalked Out.
Well, mate, listen, if I could send you a screenshot of my inbox right now,
right,
you'd be flabbergasted at the people I'm speaking to. Do you know what? It's just, obviously it's nice to have people respect me in that way, but I'm just me. That's all I've ever done from day dot when I got in this scene, was like, I see too many people attempt to be someone else, or try and adopt a style that's not natural for them, and ultimately they're the ones that break off from the scene in a huff and never speak to it, because they're not happy from day one. So I've just been myself. I've not taken myself too seriously. I communicate with people because I just think it's rude to ignore someone. If someone's taking the time to send you a nice message complimenting your bars or whatever, it takes a minute to write a reply. Like, there's no excuse for not interacting with people. But it's built me up to this thing where people just seem to think I'm a really nice guy, which is great. But I want this sort of thing to speak for itself. It's handy that people have listened to me. I think that's where the benefit is coming from me, is people have actually listened. I think a lot of guys have tried to start something, but it takes a while to get going, because the fans are sort of, they like what they like and they know what they know. But I've had a lot of people that have given me the time of day to talk about the platform, including yourself, which I'm grateful for. So thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. And let's get into this card. I mean, we'll start off with the musical performances. But I mean, actually, first of all, let's talk about the venue, because it originally wasn't going to be at Brixton Jam, but it's moved there now, right?
Yeah. It was originally going to be in the Lighthouse Bar and Club, but we were going back and forth with them. They've got quite a complicated system to book events, so we're sort of going back and forth, but we're having to use a third party, sort of booking agent. And there just seemed to be a disconnect going back and forth. We'd have questions, and the question would be very specific for what we needed, but it would get changed sort of like Chinese whispers in the process. And towards the end, it was just becoming difficult, and we were getting a bit frustrated with it. And we had a conversation. We were like, look, let's just email Brixton Jam and see what they're saying, because it is one of my favourite venues in London, in the UK, full stop, for battle rap and live music. We were looking at Fiddlers because it's, everyone loves the Fiddlers, right? But we didn't feel that, for battles we thought it would be amazing, but we didn't feel for the live music, despite it being such a famous venue, that we could cater to enough fans that we wanted to in that small space if you're trying to fit in entire music performances as well. And so we needed something a bit bigger. We emailed Brixton Jam, didn't hear anything from them, and carried on, getting frustrated with Lighthouse. And then literally a week and a half later, out of the blue, we got an email from Brixton Jam, started a dialogue, and here we are.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm guessing, is it going to be a pit format for the battles and the stage music, or?
Yeah, exactly that. I think we're going to set up the metal fencing like you had in, so was it Sunburn 2 when Tony battled Raptor? That sort of create a sort of octagon, to keep people out, and allow the battlers to have their space and the filming to be crisp. And then afterwards, we just push that to the side and the performers take. But I mean, we were sort of umming and ahhing about how we do it. Would it be we do the battles, then we do the live music, or are we going to split it? So I think what we're going to ask is for people to sort of trust us a little bit, because the first few events might be different, where we're trying things out and seeing what works best. And like I said, we want it to be organic. We don't want to force things on people. We want whatever feels the best and what people enjoy the most to be the norm for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking of splitting it at the minute. Do a few battles, then some live music, and then have a break in the battles and music, so people have constantly feel like it's evolving. Do you know what I mean?
And are you gonna be host?
We're sort of making that up as we go along. I mean, I'm going to be hosting battles with the boys, obviously. That's a given. But we've actually got, the Triple B show.
Yeah.
Jay Thinks, Paris 1. They're actually hosting the live music performances for us. They're great girls. Like their show's brilliant, like yourself. And it'd be nice to give them a little bit of a push. I'm expecting you in the building if you're available.
Yeah, I should hopefully be there. I think I told you before. I'm actually missing my girlfriend's marathon for Next in Line 2, so I might need to make it up the week after. But I should hopefully.
Ella, you can put on spandex and run in a straight line whenever you want. All right. These are important. I mean, Shox versus Gemini. Does she know how important that is?
Conman curve. I mean, you know what I mean. It's very.
You know what I mean? Let's do it.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, there's no way I'm not going to be there. And I think most people. I mean, how they seem to be selling quite well. Like your promo game's great on Twitter. You got that on lock.
Well, just what? I mean, me personally, or the Chalked Out
just
account?
Chalked Out. It's just it's not too experimental, but it's just consistent, and it keeps the brand in your mind when you're scrolling.
Well, we've got to, that's the whole point. We've got to keep it in your face, haven't we? Because people forget or become complacent. And we know sometimes people don't have money straight away. They get paid in the middle of the month, at the end of the month or whenever. So, just keep sticking it in your face. But at the same time, not overdoing it. I'm not hitting everybody up like, share this for me, do it. Like, that's what I meant by organic. I'm sending flyers to people and making a mental note of who's posting it and sharing it and who's supporting, and maybe in the future, though, opportunities will come a bit easier to people that have got behind us a little, because we want to help this grow. The whole point of doing this from the jump was that they had a platform, artists had a platform that they needed, and people would get paid fairly on time for doing performances and battles as we build up.
Yeah. I think it's not as obscure anymore, is it? The economics of battle rap over recent times, and I think having someone they can trust like you is the best thing. So we'll get into the musical acts. Obviously, it's a battle rap event. You've got to have Kuva on the decks, right?
Yes, of course, of course. He was the first person I asked. I said, "Look, I'm going to start approaching acts, but we're going to need some music spinning." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's cool. I mean, he's not spinning for the artist though.
Right.
That's got to be said. He's there as Kovu, so he'll be performing in between acts. When you first go in, when there's breaks, he'll be performing, and then it'll be just him dropping crazy dubs and going mad. And he's a very accomplished DJ, to be fair.
Yeah, no, he's killing it. Like the South Point that he's doing is crazy. Most of these people I know on the flyer. A few names I don't. Not aware of Daniel's son.
You'll know very soon.
Okay.
Daniel's son is one of the most talented people with a mic that I've ever heard in my life. Not only that, he's just, one of those people that's just naturally gifted. Like he produces beats, but whereas anyone will produce a beat, with an MPC, he'll book out a studio, go to a studio, set up a mic rig, record himself playing 4 hours of live drums, then break it down and put it in an MPC and make beats out of it. So, like, you're not just talking about someone that's producing, he's producing at ground level. Like, it's incredible. He's just got this, one of those guys you can lock in a room with tin cans and an hour later he's made an EP. Do you know what I mean? He's just very, very talented guy. He's from Maidstone. So yeah, I had to get him on the card, to be honest. He was supposed to be battling as well, but his opponent isn't able to do that date, but it will be rescheduled.
Right. And what are we? I mean, again, I know it's your first event; it's all in the air. But what are we talking like set times? Because is it going to be like a battle, like 20 minutes, or?
Yeah, sort of 15, 20 minutes for the build up names, and then Tony D, Locksmith, Josiah, and C Major would get sort of half hour each.
Well, it's just like, I mean, I don't, we're fawning over C Major so much, but like one of the things that loads of rock bands do, like Metallica do it a lot, they'll go on tour and, they'll play a classic album back to front. And I'd love for C just to do 10,000 hours, just, you know what I mean? Just like as a piece, it'd be fantastic.
I think he's sort of umming and ahhing at the minute, because he said originally he would do 10,000 hours, but I know that he's sitting on some absolute crack right now. And yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd be itching to perform that, to be honest, just to gauge, it's different nowadays in the digital age where anyone can make a track at home in a studio that probably costs, for £500 you can get a decent home recording studio. And if you know what you're doing, you can make a good project, you put it online, you got Bandcamp, you got SoundCloud, you don't need people's help nowadays. But back in the day, when people didn't have this luxury, like the way that you gauged the reaction to new songs wasn't to put out a snippet on Twitter or drop it on YouTube and gauge the views. It was you had to go to clubs and dive bars and tour and play this new shit to new people and gauge their reactions live. And I think if you're a true artist, someone like C is, then that still appeals to you nowadays, despite having the technology to do it a different way. Like, you want to be there and see people's faces when they're taking new sounds.
And Jack Fitz is up next.
Yeah, Jack Fitz is a grime artist who is part of Wave Gang. Well, was part of Wave Gang. He's not anymore. But they're making moves. But Jack Fitz is incredible. Again, he's an upcoming grime artist. I actually know him personally through Jed Roberts, who's our camera guy that used to do our music videos and whatever for us. I say used to, he still does, but I just don't make enough music. So that's very telling, that. But yeah, I met Jack Fitz through Jed Roberts, and he was shooting a music video for it. Never heard of the guy at the time. Watched the music video and was blown away. Like, he's so energetic. He reminds me of like an Izzy Gibbs sort of character. Just gets the crowd so hyped. So yeah, he'll be second on, and we'll hopefully kick right off and get going from there.
Yeah, and you just mentioned music that you were making. Obviously, you made some music with Mob Rider, who's back now with Tony Flames.
Yeah, listen, these two are my day ones. This is my team. Like, we do nearly everything together, and Dave at the minute, them two are doing a few tunes together. They got a few releases, SBTV, Grime Daily, RVTV, which is our own channel from back in the day. And they got a couple of songs that they've recorded together recently. I think they're putting an EP together, and they're just, I don't know if anyone's seen the videos. Go check them out. My Bride of Tony Flames online. The latest track's called If You Hear, but just bangers. Them sort of tunes where it has a real bounce to it, gets you going. So I thought it'd just be great to give them sort of a 20-minute set and keep the momentum going.
Yeah, totally. And it's just ridiculous talent. Like, for a tenner, I can't believe how many people are on this card. We've got Bobby Rex doing a set as well as battling Tony D.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. When we book people, like, if we approach someone for a musical performance, we'll say, if you're on the card already, do you fancy a battle? If they don't, then they just perform music. If they do, then we try and sort that out as well, and vice versa. If I offer somebody a battle and I know they make good music and there's a space for them to perform music as well, they're given the choice. And obviously, most people are like, well, I'm in the building anyway. The good thing about music is when you write battles, it's new, it's fresh, you've got to learn it, it's got to be in a set order. But your songs, you don't, when you do a battle, every battle you do is a different performance. But when you write a good song, you can tour and perform that same song 400 times over the course of the year. So you know the song inside out. So it's a case of, it's very easy to say, I'm going to take a battle and I'll throw in a music performance, because all of your songs are stored in your head. They've been there for years. Yeah. And he was, it's Bobby at the end of the day. I knew before I even asked the question, do you want to get on the mic after your battle and spit some bars? Obviously. So yeah. And he's got some tunes coming up that you've not heard yet, I'm sure, that are just mind blowing.
Yeah. I see he's been in the studio a lot, and obviously the guy on beat is just an absolute killer. Like, he's unbelievably talented.
It's like a British Big Pun, and for me to say that is a lot. Like, he's just his new stuff that he's sending me, like his flows, he's just a piss taker. I don't know how anyone can rap like that. He's a machine.
Yeah. And Press as well. Good to see Press One. I mean, he just released his Super MC EP, which is fantastic. Listen to that the weekend. Epilepsy is such a tune. Like, great to have someone like he's a Press again. He's like a real artist, isn't he? Real puts a lot of thought into his craft.
Yeah, for real. He's an incredible artist. But same thing again. Like I've got a personal friendship with Press. I knew that he was going to drop this project, so it just seemed like perfect timing. Do a bit of promo and get him on the stage.
And we got Raptor, we got Tony D. Locksmith and Josiah Major. We've got C Major, who mentioned before. We've got tons of incredible live performances. But this is Battle Rap Resume, and we've got some incredible battles as well. I don't know who Shaolin is, I don't know who Hypes is, but I have faith that if you've put them on this card, it must be worth our time.
Well, you're gonna know who Shaolin is straight away. Right. Shaolin is the same guy that comes to every single battle event. He's everyone's friend, and we talked. He talks to everyone. He talks to all the battlers. Everyone loves the guy. He's just such a good guy. And a few months ago, about 6 months ago, he was just sent me a random voice. Actually, it was through Frankie Fraser. We were talking to Frankie Fraser, and he said, Shaolin wants to battle you via voice note or whatever, sort of for a laugh. I was just out and about in the car, so I was like, yeah, go on then, just send it through. So he sent me the voice note, and it was actually really good. Like, really good. And so I listened to it. I said, send me his number. He sent me his number. And in 5 minutes, I wrote like a 32-bar reply, rebutting everything that he said and sent it back to him. And he was like, fuck, that's mental. It was just, I was lucky at that time. It just so happened to come to me while I was in the car. But anyway, so we did that. And then it just stuck in my mind. I thought, if I ever do my own events or whatever and I need a tryout, he's definitely getting hit up. So yeah, I'll put some pressure on him. He was a bit nervous, but I'll put the pressure on him and he's done it.
Oh, fucking awesome. Yeah, okay, cool.
He was going to go by the name Stardot, but I mugged him off so badly for that he's kept it as Shaolin.
And someone we haven't seen for ages, someone that you kind of brought to a lot of it. I remember you mentioning this guy in our first episode, the first thing we ever recorded, Templar Surfer Kid. Him versus Hulk, that's a dope matchup.
Oh yeah, listen, that was meant to happen a long time ago. I think it was meant to. Do you remember way back when it was like the Gift of the Gab and King of the Ronalds crossover event, where all the flyers were like EastEnders characters or whatever? As far as I remember, it was meant to go down then.
Right.
So and a lot of bad blood happened and sort of people fell out and whatever. But so the battle never went down. But I mean, obviously, look, Templars are a very polarizing character in the scene, but he's my Donny at the end of the day. Like he's always had my back. And I loved our battle together, and I just think he's another like Yuna in a way. I think he's incredibly talented, but his online persona puts people off, and maybe doesn't get him booked as often as he should be. But getting him on this card was a no-brainer, especially against Hulk. I rate Hulk. I think he's again someone that's sorely looked over. But you watch a lot of his recent battles, and he's really like dismantling his opponent's character. And that is, that sort of character assassination he's sorely missed now. And that's me saying that as a guy that just straight bars. Do you know what I mean? Like it's difficult nowadays to find someone that has that wit where they can just completely make you feel like a twat in your own skin. And Hulk's really good at that. So that just seemed like a perfect matchup for us.
Yeah. I just saw Hulk versus Bear Solutions actually, and that he did exactly that. So yeah, Hulk is fantastic.
Yeah, he's really on the board a minute.
And Topher versus Acre, another great matchup of two sort of up and comers. I really like this one.
Well, do you know what? I rate Acre so much, so much. And I mean, I don't know if I'm going to blow any minds putting this out there, but he's one of those guys that I look at and think I'm going to be better than you in a couple of years. Like,
oh shit!
I know that for a fact. So let's just, give him as much opportunity as we can now to build himself up. He's an incredible writer. He's really getting very measured in his delivery as well, which is incredible. His only issue is he stumbles because I think he gets nervous. He's still learning to deal with the crowd sort of thing. And we're throwing him into the deep end here. It's going to be a much bigger crowd than he's used to. But I've got faith that he'll smash the battle. And Topher, I really like Topher's style. He doesn't take himself seriously. He does a lot of ironic gun bars and stuff like. Right. But it's just I think he had a couple of shaky performances and wasn't given the opportunities after that would have enabled him to showcase himself. You know, the problem with this scene is you have one or two shaky battles, and then they'll give you an opponent that doesn't inspire you because they're scared to take the risk on the day, and you never, you know, you're stuck in a hole. Then if you're not inspired by your opponent, you're not really going to shine to bring yourself back out of the hole you dropped yourself in. So you've got to give people opportunities. I think he deserves one. See the two of them together, it just feels like two underdogs given a chance to shine.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Jitsu versus Jay Short. I mean, I'm sure I'm not speaking for myself here, but I'm so happy to see Jitsu back.
Do you know what? He's my best friend. Soul's my best friend. We're like brothers, literally. And I've been on his neck for, I can't even tell you how long, about doing a battle. And he's just not been interested. He's not been interested at all. He's not on it. Every time I try and put him in touch with someone, he's not on it. I know he spoke to a few leagues, have approached him. A few leagues have, you know, offered him some good opponents. He's just not on it. And then obviously I'm starting my thing. And then it's, you know, me asking you is a bit different now because it's sort of gone from a suggestion to a favour. And he was like, and he sort of ummed and ahed about it, but he's like, yeah, I'll do it because it's you. But now he started writing, and he's like, he's already got his first round done, and he's right back into the swing of it. I think he's loving writing at the minute. So yeah, I'm really excited to have him back on. Yeah,
someone like Jay Short as well. Like they've both got not a lot to say to each other in an obvious way, but I think their styles complement each other quite well.
That's what we thought. It's just total and utter sarcasm. Yeah, that's like. Jay Short has that wit where, again, just makes you feel like a twat in your own skin. Like he's just, you know, it's something. It's like O'Shea as well. You know, I'm one of these guys that writes these really long, intricate, drawn-out schemes and multi-layered punches. But there is just something about being able to stand there and say your top knot looks fucking shit, and have a whole room full of people laugh. Like it's in the way you deliver it, the way you write it. And Jay Short's very much one of those people that if he doesn't rate you, and he looks down on you, he will talk to you like absolute shit in perfect multi-syllabics, and I love it. I love it. I think Jay Short's sorely underrated, to be honest. So.
Yeah, no, he's hella consistent. Yeah, and Craft D, great to see him getting like, you know, one of the sort of the higher tier matchups that he deserves in Raptor.
Yeah, do you know what? So this is funny, right? So basically, we wanted to sort this battle out. Well, we wanted to sort a battle out for Raptor. We had multiple opponents and they sort of fell through, and then we were like, look, this is not going to happen, let's get you on the second event, and you know, for this event we'll just leave as is. So we're doing what we're doing, and you know, the cards all locked, everything's done, and then all of a sudden we'd left contingency with the venue. I mean, there's a story that I'm not going to go into, but we'd left contingency with the venue to add one more performer to the card because there was a certain small American-British guy from Manchester that went ghost, and we were worried that he wasn't going to show. So we brought Raptor's performance forward from the second event and left a contingency with the venue that we might add another 15-minute performance on it, so that if certain American man got in touch with me then and said he was still performing, then I just put him back on the card, no problem. Obviously that didn't happen. Everyone knows the fallout of that. But we, at this point, we had Raptor in the building, and as far as the venue were concerned, one more person could be added. And like clockwork, I get a message. All of this is unbeknownst to Craft, but I get a message from Craft saying, I've been chatting to Raptor about battling, and it looks like he's going to give me the shot. And I was like, let's have a conversation. So we had a conversation. It took a bit of back and forth, a bit of negotiating, but we managed to lock the battle in. And obviously, yes, we just told the venue Craft is going to be the extra performer, and we've added the battle. And what a battle to add. I mean, it's genius.
Seriously good battle. And top of the card, this is kind of one that you had always was kind of when Chalked Out was like, we've got all these music performers and we've got a battle. By the way, it's Tony D versus Bobby Rex. I've seen these guys writing online how excited they are about the material. Bobby especially, you know, I know he's beaming, he's honoured. I know Tony's relishing it as well. This could like really one for the ages. I think this could be.
Do you know what? It's just, I think on paper, most people look at it and dismiss it because they think Tony's a legend, and they think Bobby hasn't earned that battle yet, or he's not built enough of a name up. I don't look at things like that. I've never cared about tiers or, you know, reputations. Like, you do, for me, if someone interests me as an artist, a rapper, whatever, I will take the battle. You know, I battled at the time. I battled Johnny Storm or whatever, and then it was like I went to battle Templar, who'd never been heard of, in a car park in Brixton. Like, it's about how good the battle's going to be, not whether the guy's got a big name or not. And when I just look at these two as people and rappers, they are incredible. Like, they're both rappers. Do you know what I mean? They're the guys that when they do battles or when they do live music performances, it's the rappers in the room that are slack-jawed. And it just made perfect sense to me on paper. I think Tony would know that he can't take Bobby light, and Bobby would know it's the biggest opportunity of his career, and he's got to step up and really, you know, put a lot of thought into his bars. Having heard material from them both, holy fuck. This is going to be crazy. Like, seriously crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I mean, what is the kind of schedule like for Chalked Out? Are you going to do regular events? Like, what's the timeline looking like?
We're hoping to do sort of every 6 weeks. Would be good. We wanted to originally do once a month, but, you know, we ran into a few roadblocks in our planning that we realised, like, it's not viable, especially not if we're trying to, you know, one thing that's important to us is communication. So we're trying to converse with other leagues to make sure that we're not all fucking each other's events up, stepping on each other's toes. You know, there's too much infighting and bickering, and, you know, we're all stronger together. So there's plenty for everyone to eat, for all the artists to eat, without having to consistently pull the rug out from under the little people. So, you know, we're all working together. But we're hoping, sort of a 6 week cycle would be a better look for us already.
Yeah. And it's, you know, crazy event to kick off on. As I say, it's on Saturday, the 14th of October, London, Brixton Jam, £10 tickets, chalkedout.com, at Chalked Out UK. Am I missing anything? Are there any other websites or?
No, it's Chalked Out. .com, and then you've got, no, that's it, the Instagram, the Twitter. There is a Facebook group, but obviously I don't have anything to do with that. That's Ambi.
Yeah.
Ambi's also in control of the Chalked Out Twitter at the minute, so if anyone gets an offensive tweet from them, blame Ambi.
and I mean, we're about a month or so away. How are you feeling coming up to it? Are you feeling, I mean, you must feel great, I mean, surely.
I'm really confident, to be honest. It's all kind of falling together. We knew when we were sorting this out that it was an incredibly ambitious undertaking. Do you know what I mean? We've not started in a pub, we've not started with unknown people, like, but that's my mentality, that's Ambi's mentality. We've always been the same. Like, it's just all or nothing. There's no point in pussyfooting around. Like, do it and make it work, or don't do it at all. So we've sort of got a very ambitious debut card, but the way the tickets are selling at the minute, the way that, you know, people are talking about it online and the buzz it's generating, really pleased.
Yeah, no, cannot wait. I want to, you know, urge everyone, as I always do, pick up these tickets. You know, definitely go to that. I mean, in terms of distribution, is there going to be a pay-per-view? Is it going to be a YouTube channel, or?
No, there'll be a pay-per-view, 100%. There is a YouTube channel already set up. So we're going to be releasing freestyles and ciphers and things on that to build up some momentum going forward towards the event. We've got some of the artists that are on the card sort of doing little 16s and 32s for us at the minute. But yeah, there'll be a pay-per-view, and eventually things will get released on the YouTube, as is the norm with battle leagues. But obviously we're going to have a little bit of uniqueness to it, because there will also be live music performances, and you know, we're not just recording the battles, we're filming the performances as well. So and we've got a few plans going forward for sort of special intimate gigs that we will, you know, advertise going forward, and people will see that we're trying to do something a little bit different, but that'll all be available on the YouTube as well when it drops.
All right, awesome. Well, I mean, you know, I'm sure we've sold it to you. You've been listening to this. This event is fucking crazy. I'm definitely going to be there as well. Shox, this has been a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming on.
No, thank you very much, as always, Tom.